Johnson here, just out at Central Park in Sydney, just near Central Railway Station. Here's a couple having a bit of a picnic out in the grass. They could be anywhere in Sydney. This is a site that is just sitting on the grass, sunshine coming in. But if we zoom back from this view and just see where these people are actually sitting, you see that this is actually an incredibly urban, not a rural location. And here are the buildings around the parkland at Central Park. And this is the building, One Central Park, that won the Urban Task Force Development of the Year for 2014. This is the heliostat that reflects light back down into the parkland so that we maximise the amount of light there. So I think this is a really interesting location to look at. Here, for instance, I'm walking into the shopping centre. So it's got its own shopping centre, retail areas, a bit bouncy as I walk along, but you'll be able to see the various shops on the left-hand side. We've got a juice area. You can see shops looking back through there, and if we swing round the other side, you'll see there's a big Woolworths store where people can get all their supplies. So the people living in this complex can get all of this right on site. So if we move up the escalators, you can actually move to the ground level. So this brings us up from the park at the back up to George Street, and there's a very dramatic space as we look up through the atrium, a series of shops and cultural facilities that open onto these areas. And look back across the escalators, greenery built in to this area to give a sense of nature even in an urban area. Fashion shops abound throughout the retail complex, and as we walk out onto George Street, we go past a shop selling running shoes and sneakers and shoes generally. The latest fashions are here, but amazingly, as you round the corner and look back down George Street, we're looking back to the centre of Sydney. In fact, if we zoom in here, we should be able to find the major bus interchange at Railway Square. So this is the bus interchange at Railway Square where buses from all over Sydney come through. So this site is located right at the focus of where public transport exists. Directly over the road is the UTS, University of Technology, Sydney. A lot of students in this area. Student housing is part of this. But the greenery is incorporated throughout the whole building. And if we walk along the street here, I just want to show you where some green landscape has been built into the wall of the building itself. So this is an amazing feat here by a French landscape architect called Patrick Blanc, who's developed this technique of taking landscape up through a building. It's all got its own watering system, it's looked after by the body corporate, and so adds another interest level to the whole building. But again, as we walk along the street, you can see this relationship back to the real centre of the city. And I'm going to just zoom in here to show you the clock tower of Central Railway Station. So that is the biggest railway station in New South Wales, in Sydney, and here we are located within a few hundred metres of the major railway station. So obviously a site like this must have a fair bit of density and a fair bit of height. Now I've just crossed over the road here to look back at the site, and you'll see the green walls that I mentioned before, but what's amazing is that these green walls go right up through the building. So the greenery goes up the panels vertically, but also grows horizontally along a number of these ledges. So you get a building that's part landscape, part building, and it culminates in this incredible cantilever that you can see with the heliostat, which is reflecting light back onto the back of the site. But at night time, that whole heliostat is different coloured lights, purples, reds, greens, and it reflects a dappled light, an incredible performance. The adjoining building also has landscape carrying right through, right down to the ground level. And if we look through the entrance here, you can actually see how the connection from a very urban part of the city with traffic and bustle goes through the actual retail area, and out the back there you can see the landscape that is all part of the parkland on the other side of this site here. Very urban site. This is a place where people who want to feel part of the city can live, but they can also have a lifestyle that is very comfortable, that can use the parklands as well. I think the most impressive thing here is the way landscape is being built into all of these balconies, but there is then this iconic statement that positions this building separate from all others in the city. This dramatic cantilever, the light that reflects from this through solar collectors is quite dramatic.